So I'm here with Ivan Lee, and he's director of The Legend, which has also been selected for the Youth Edition Shorts of the Jump Cut Film Festival. So Ivan, The Legend is about preserving rural and traditional parts of Hong Kong. Why is this particularly important to you?
Well, I think people can learn a history, can learn the culture of Hong Kong through this kind of heritage, and I believe that heritage is actually a living museum for us, especially in The Legend. I use Pok Fu Lam village to be an example. The villagers hope this can be a chance to let other citizens can learn different kind of aspects, such as the neighborhood and also the spirit of cohesion through this village. Because in this village, there is the neighborhood existing, so neighbors always help each other, and I really like the spirit of cohesion. Mm-hmm. So I believe conserving heritage is very important.
Mm-hmm. So you're still at school, and you've managed to get a film in a big film festival running up here. How do you find balancing school with your filming? And is filming just a kind of a hobby for you, or is it something that you really want to get into?
Before I devote my time on filming, I was actually a member in the Hong Kong windsurfing team, and I started learning windsurfing and film producing at the same time, around 8 years old. And after several years balancing both hobbies, I found that I'm more interested in film, and in my future I want to devote my time on multimedia. So I decided to give up my windsurfing career.
Okay, so you've won awards already, is that right?
Yeah, I won.
To explain.
Yeah, 2 to 3 before. Well, at first in 2012, I joined a UNICEF film competition, and it's about protecting children from abusing. So I decided to film a very short film using a Christopher Nolan style by tuning the tones of the movie to a darker tone, and also to try to make something like a Sin City, so people can feel this, can think it's very cinematic, and they love this movie. And I start to think about my future after making this film, because I also won several awards in windsurfing before, and I also want to be a full-time windsurfer. Mm-hmm. But after I made this short film, I decided to make several short films, and in 2013 I filmed a science fiction short film, which I also won some international film festival in. One is in Hollywood, but it's a small scale, not that really large scale. And so I decided that a film I'm more interested in film producing, so I decided to quit windsurfing. So yeah, that's what I want.
Do you think you could ever combine your windsurfing with filming? Do you think you could ever do a documentary about windsurfing or something?
Yeah.
Would you ever like to do that?
I want to do one, because I believe windsurfing is not very familiar by people in Hong Kong. What they know is there's a windsurfer who won the Olympic in 1996, and they know nothing about it anymore. Also, there are many inspiring stories among the windsurfers, such as my coach. When windsurfing is not really that popular, they have no budget, and they need to use their own money to buy their own equipment, and it's tough, but they still can carry it on. So I believe making a windsurfing documentary is a quite good idea.
Cool. How do you find Hong Kong? Do you find Hong Kong lends well to cinematography? Do you think it's a good city to film, looks wise?
Well, some people may criticize that the government is not doing a good job in creative media, but for me, I think, for location, I think Hong Kong deserve a good quality for cinematographies. Hong Kong is a very interesting place where where it is a combination between urban and countryside, and you can, like, using this district to be an example. Maybe you can see skyscrapers, but you walk for a distance, you can see some maybe old buildings. So it's actually a good for contrasting these two kind of buildings. So I think Hong Kong is actually a good place for cinematography.
So how are documentaries important?
Well, documentary is important because it can. It's like a book and it's like a museum, but maybe people don't want to walk a whole day in a museum, so they would like to watch a documentary. And I think documentary is important because we can learn lessons through watching a film. And some people may like to produce a drama, but for me, after producing The Legend, I think making documentary can maybe enhance my own knowledge because I've learned a lot of history and also cultural values of Hong Kong, and making documentary can let others realize that maybe there is some values that we need to defend, or maybe we need to promote it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You seem quite set on promoting these important messages through your films, instead of Sin City style, the sci-fi that you did a few years ago. What kind of messages can we expect from your future films? Is there? You've mentioned windsurfing. What other messages would you like to portray?
Well, maybe it depends on some recent events. And when I was producing my first film in 2012, there is a protesting in Hong Kong based on that patriotism education. Yeah, so people went out in the street and gathered in the headquarters of the government, and they just protest. And I think it's astonished because one boy there's a Joshua Wong. He's just maybe he's similar to my age, but he can gather maybe several thousand people. So I decided to use maybe his story to do something similar. Is a boy who is a high school student, decided to hold a protest because he's not satisfied with the city, but he soon realized that protesting can also help, but there is more efficient ways, such as joining some authorities and doing community service can also help to improve the city. And for the sci-fi, it's actually a little bit. I want to talk about some place with maybe their lack of freedom of speech and lack of freedom. So people living in that city may thought they are living in the best city in the world. Maybe using North Korea as an example, people thought they are living in the best country throughout the earth. But actually, for our perspective, we think they are quite poor because they don't have any freedom. They need to be observed by the government. Yeah. So I decided to in my science fiction, I use a city located in the moon called Lunar City, and the protagonist is actually a cyborg, but he had his own feeling. He know he can access to internet, and he know what is happening, and he think staying on the moon is lack of freedom, so he decided to escape and go to Earth. Yeah.
Interesting. So could you ever see yourself directing kind of Hollywood style fictions?
Well, yeah, I love filming, but for me, I prefer in multimedia such as visual effects and animation. Well, I hope to be maybe a visual effect supervisor or director as or focus on animation in the future. Yeah, going to maybe staying in Hollywood would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's your favourite scenery to film? Because I noticed in The Legend there's a lot of kind of cityscapes of Hong Kong, time passing. So what's your favourite kind of effect to make on a camera?
Well, maybe, that I never think of it. Yeah, because maybe I love to use an aerial shot. Maybe you can. It's like a helicopter where you travel around the city, and the scenery is quite stunning. Yeah.
Cool. So final question.
Okay.
In your opinion, about Pok Fu Lam village? In your opinion, how likely is it that the government actually will destroy it for skyscrapers?
Well, the villagers did a good job because they they applied for the World Monument Fund and they entered it. Yeah. So now they are in the observing list. So at least it can give a pressure to the government that the government may reorganize the plan. Maybe they will postpone it. But for me, I really hope that the government will not destroy it, because this village is. We don't have this kind of village in Hong Kong. Maybe in new territories, but there's only a few. And this village is important because it had been it started to begin with in the Qing dynasty, which is maybe 100 or maybe 200 years ago, which it stepped past several a lot of decades, several decades, and it's actually a living museum where people can step inside history and to study the values. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.